Yo, it's your boy B. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, I got another one for you. This is something that the Lord actually placed on my heart. For those you don't know, my name is Brian Fields. You can call me Uncle B. Uh, B is fine, whatever. But I got a new one for you, and it is called Bring Back the Jack. Yes, yes. Bring Back the Jack. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the Jack. I'm talking about this guy right here. Yep. Bring back the Jack of all trades. There's been a saying in our society. I'm a millennial, was born about 1990, and it was a jack of all trades but master of none, and it was always had a negative connotation to it. Everybody was like, oh well, if you don't specialize in something, you'll never master anything. But just recently, the Lord has dealt with me this year alone on embracing that. And I went on to research, and because I heard that that was not the full saying. It's just like us Americans to cut things out, right? It's like the actual full saying is jack of all trades, master of none, but is oftentimes better than a master of one. And that really encouraged me because I am somewhat of a jack of all trades. I can do multiple things. I'm good at many different things. I can't say that I've mastered any one of them. Maybe one. Football is my first wife, but other things I'm really, really good at. And there was just always this temptation to try to find a lane and stick to it. And the Lord would never allow me to. He will always focus my energy and keep moving me and keep moving me. And I could never find mastery. I could never find a place where I felt 100% totally confident in my ability to do a thing. And I think that was intentional on his end. So yes, bring back the jack. This one is for everybody who is multi-talented, multi-dimensional, but you felt caged in. People didn't want you to be in different lanes because of their insecurities, because they felt territorial or threatened. This one is for y'all because I feel like God is trying to release that hybrid species of man or woman in the earth that can do multiple things. You can wear multiple hats and do them all well. It reminds me of the story in the Bible where he gave out multiple talents. There was one that had the one, there was one that had the two talents, and then there was one that had the five. And if you go on to read that story, the one who had the five actually multiplied it and doubled it to 10. That person would be very intimidating in today's day and age. But I do, like I said, I do think that God is trying to release those with the five to go ahead and fly high. So another character in the Bible that reminds me of this is David. We all know David as a David and Goliath kid. He was a warrior. He was not only a warrior, though, he was also a king, which means he had leadership qualities and had the ability to run a whole nation, which he did. David also played the harp. He played prior to him being a king. The man was a bad musician. You know what I mean? Like he was able to play demons out of people. I would say he was very gifted in that area. We also know that he was a poet. If you know anything about the Davidic temple and the worship that David's style of worship, there was poetry and prophecy all wrapped up into it. That's another thing. David was also a prophet. So you will see he was multi-gifted and multi-dimensional. He could span into different spheres and kind of dominate the area that God had given him. And I feel like that's a release that's coming back to the earth. For those who have felt caged in, it's just like, I know for me, there was an anxiety that the devil had me wrapped up in. And I didn't know where to focus my energy because I could do so much. It's like, God, I don't want to be out of your will, but there's so many things I could do. I had trouble really mastering my time and mastering my energy output into these different spheres and different influences. Well, I'm here to tell you that the time is even now and is coming where God is going to give you divine strategy on how to manage your time and or energy, but also where you can pour into all of those different areas. And it's going to come full circle. I'm talking things that you have laid down are going to come back to you. Things that you used to love and were passionate about as a child is going to come back, and it's going to work together for the divine will of God and for your prosperity as a whole. So bring back the jack. Say it with me. Bring back the jack. Listen, I'm one of them. I cut hair. I'm good in sports. I can learn really, really quickly. I bake. I didn't even know I was a baker. That's something that showed up while I was fasting. I'm a musician. I can sing. I can prophesy. And the Lord is molding me into a preacher. There are many different things that we can do, and you need not be ashamed of all of them. Listen, don't worry about the haters. Tell them to focus on what God gave them. If he gave them two, they better master them too. Tell them get out your business and mind their own. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, listen, pray. Ask God for divine wisdom and strategy on how you can maximize all that he's given you. Why? Because God is not a neglectful or a frivolous investor. And he told me, he was like, yo, I'm going to get out of you all that I put in you. With that notion and revelation, there's nothing that he's giving you that he just wants you to waste. There's nothing that he's giving you that he just wants you to lay down. Oh, that was for that season. And it doesn't go on to impact those around you. Now, there are some things that it might have been a pipe dream of yours. That's why I'm telling you to pray. Because if you always had a dream of being a singer, but that's not necessarily a gift that God gave you, then that might not be something you need to invest your time and energy in. But I'm talking about those things that come easy to you, those things that you can't get out of your spirit, those things that other people notice about you that you might not even like, but that you're good at. Those are the things I'm talking about you need to invest in. Bring back the jack. You can do it on multi-levels. You can do it in multi-dimensions. You can do it. Bring back the jack. God will give us a grace. He has given us a grace to do it in this next season. And I want you to understand the power of a multi-use tool. You got to understand we are tools in the master's hand. And I don't know about y'all, if any of y'all work with your hands, but there's a confidence that you have when you don't have to carry so many tools because you have a few of them that can get the job done. I planned my marriage ceremony by committee, and it was a group of four of us. It was me, my wife to be, and I had two of my best friends. And they all are jack of all trades. They had connections. They had administrative gifts. You know what I'm saying? They were all creative. One of them had both of them have a very good fashion sense. We were able to get the whole job done with only 4 people. The power of a multi-use tool. If you can wear multiple hats and if you're good at proficient areas, the less people you need to keep around you. You see what I'm saying? The more minds there are, the harder it is to gain any kind of real sense of unity and gain traction and make progress. That's my opinion, my theory. But again, God does have a use for multi-use tools. Look at what he did with David. David was multi-gifted, multi-dimensional, and he was able to do a vast variety of things, including set up the style of worship that we still use today. David was proficient in all of those areas. He was a musician. He prophesied. He was a prophet. He was poetic. You see what I'm saying? So he could write. The man was dangerous with his pen, but he also could lead. He sang. You see what I'm saying? Like all of those things were a part of his repertoire. So he was able to birth out a style of worship that would carry on for the rest of time. So I don't want you to down yourself because these specialists out here who are one trick ponies, don't let them fool you in thinking that you're less than because you haven't mastered anything. You don't need to master anything, because what happens when their one skill that they've mastered is no longer of use? They get stuck. And in the times that are coming, you're going to need to be ambidextrous and have multiple layers and multiple ways for you to be able to produce, for you to be able to provide. You see what I'm saying? The more valuable you are in multiple areas, the more valuable you are in general. So I want you to get excited about all that God has given you. Don't let it down you. Don't let it weigh you down, because it tends to be a burden sometimes. Trust me, I know. But don't let the enemy trick you. God has given you all of these things, and they will come to fruition and productivity in his time and in his season. So baby, don't worry. He's made you a jack. If you a jack, stand up, raise your hand. This ain't for everybody, I know. But I'm talking to those who are like me, who are kind of jack of all trades. We can do a little bit of everything, and people have made you feel bad for it, and it was out of jealousy. May the Lord rebuke them. Listen, I want to encourage you. I want to uplift you. Bring back the jack. Look, in 2025, pray about it. Let God expand you into the different areas. Maybe it's something that he's giving you in seed form, but that actually will open up doors down the road. Girl, man, you got to get to it. You got to invest. You got to spend the time. But trust me, the jack is here to stay. The jack is here to stay. Bring back the jack. Bring back the jack. We here. Listen, I want to encourage you. My name is Brian Fields. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for sitting with me for this time. I look forward to seeing you again. Hey, if you like this kind of content, go ahead and click the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Blessings.